I think there are a lot of pressures on dentists as a whole, and the thing with NHS is that it emphasises some of those pressures or exacerbates some of those pressures. I think there is, for example, if you take the fear of complaints, the fear of litigation, which is very strong across the board, whether you're a private or an NHS dentist, that is a concern. But within the NHS, because NHS dentists most often feel under pressure to see many more patients than a private dentist does in a given day, that they aren't able to invest the time in things like communication with patients or rapport building and relationship building. That's the sort of thing that gets sacrificed. And yet all the stats would suggest that 60 to 70% of complaints arise from breakdowns in communication rather than clinical issues. And we know that patients are not inclined to sue dentists they like. So if you've built a good relationship with your patients, you're less likely to get sued. It's not a guarantee you won't get sued, but you're less likely to. So if you haven't got the time to do either of those things, which is quite often the case in an NHS environment, your perception of the risks is much greater. It's not all easy for private dentists, by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of patients that are going to them for cosmetic dentistry have much higher expectations, so there's a pressure to meet those greater expectations than maybe people have when they go on the NHS. But that time pressure is a major factor. I was talking to an associate only about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and she was saying to me that she finds this relentless pressure incredibly debilitating. She goes home at night, and I'll use her words, and negotiates with herself as to whether or not the compromises she's made in patient care are acceptable. She's sort of debating with her own conscience whether or not she's done the right thing. And for me, it's all wrapped up in this idea that should you be doing the best you can do in terms of patient care, or the best you can do under the circumstances? And if the circumstances get too tough, at what point do you say enough is enough? And when this associate is going home and just spending the night stressing about whether or not she's made the right judgment calls, that tells you something's not right with NHS dentistry.